Hello there. Well, today I'm on the river. It's quite a nice sunny day. It's a bit cold in the air. There's a cold northerly wind, but I'm doing some very light spinning with a very light spinning rod, and I'm hoping I might be able to catch a small sea trout. Well, I'm trialing one of these little tiny crankbaits, which I think the Americans call them crankbaits. It's very light, and there's the rod I'm using. It's only a 6 foot rod. Now, a few days ago, I did try this little crankbait on a river quite close by. I was only there for an hour, but I did catch a nice little perch, so they do work. Now, on this stretch of the river, there are a lot of mallard, and it's always nice to see them. And there's a couple just on the other side of the river there, but I did put up about 15 a few minutes before that. Now, I think the one of the advantages to these very light baits, which you obviously need a very light rod to be able to cast them, is that they make very little disturbance when they hit the water. Now, I've started using these floating baits because these rivers can be very snaggy, and I've lost quite a lot of meps, which sink very rapidly. I'm not sure whether I've got it quite right because I think that the initial cast, the bait could do with sinking a little bit faster, so I might need to add a very tiny bit of weight on it. Now you can see why there's so many duck down here, and I've seen a heron and I've seen an egret. There's a lot of little ponds here, quite shallow. They've just formed naturally. I think this area used to be reed beds, and then it was reclaimed and back into fields and things, and now nature is taking it back again. But there's some nice pools along here, but I haven't had any luck yet. Now, with this little rod, it's got a lot of spring in it, and you can cast in various ways depending on the vegetation and the overhang. Now, the autumn berries look really nice. It certainly is the fruitful season. Well, it's a beautiful autumn morning, and it's really lovely here. I haven't had a single strike or anything yet, but the water's up quite nicely, so there should be some sea trout, even some of the small ones that come up early, but I've not been able to connect with them yet. Anyway, it is a lovely morning, and I'm thoroughly enjoying a walk through these along the bank of the river. Now, when I was young, I always used to think there was always a fish under a bridge, under the arches of a bridge. Let's see if I'm right. But this is a lovely old bridge. This is Boulder Bridge. Now, I think my early thoughts were correct about a very, very tiny weight on this floating lure, because the first few feet of drawing it in, it's still on the surface, and it needs to be. It ducks and dives because there's a little diving vane on the front of it. So I think it's very effective, but it depends on the speed you draw it back in. But I think next time I fish with this, I will put a tiny little shot or something just to make it sink very slightly as soon as it hits the water.
Well, there was nothing under there that took, so maybe there was just more fish when I was younger. I always used to catch a fish underneath a bridge. Anyway, that's as time's gone by. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this short video. If you did, please click a like and maybe subscribe so you can see another one later. Goodbye for now.